Hello there. I'm happy today to introduce my latest LEGO model. This ship is called Premonition, and I'll give it a bit of a spin. I'd like to give just a bit of overview to the design and some major elements here, and then we will tear this open and I'll show the construction techniques and how the ship itself comes together. But the major shaping for the ship, we've got this center core section, which then flows into the cockpit, and then these big nacelles and guns here. One of the design elements I was after was to create something which is a bit of a how do we want to say, kind of spindly connection, a thin connection between these core elements with these big gaps. I had seen something like a sprite from a 2D shmup that had that kind of thing, and I wanted to see in Lego if I could do this and get this kind of shaping. So that was that was an interesting challenge from a construction perspective to make it sturdy and strong enough to be able to connect to hold these big heavy bits on each side without it sort of torquing around. And I'm happy with the way that came together. Here in the center, we have this flat section in the back, and then it comes up a bit, and then into the cockpit, which comes around, and then has a bit of convergence down to the nose. And this whole cockpit section is banked down relative to the main body. Off to the side, when it comes around down into these wings, the wings itself, there's another jog here in direction, and then a cut back with an angle to give a bit of flow or sweep to back to the wings. These ones on the side, I've got these big chunky horizontal, rather vertical stabilizers, which are separating out the nacelles, and then where this is flowing into the engines. For the engines, there's more shaping I worked on to give a very subtle kind of convergence to the shape. So it's going from, what is this, 5 plus 8, so I think 13 plates wide here to 10 plates back in the back. And so there's like just a very subtle kind of angle here as this is coming back that I worked on that I think give a nice look. And then, it's pulling back now back here to the engines. In the center core area, this bit here, I wanted this white wedge element is something that I've been had my eye on for a while. I like that element. I haven't had a chance to use it. This seemed like a chance to be able to do that, and that then is giving a bit of this like very pointed, I suppose, literally pointed shaping into the rear. And this is the first time I've been able to really use magenta as one of the primary colors in a ship. I like I like magenta a lot, and I've had my eye on it. And here then presented an opportunity from a blocking perspective. I get this kind of poppy magenta stroke here in the center to come in around the cockpit. And then flowing off in the wings, be able to bring a bit of highlight and interest to the outline and the shape for that as well. I also spent quite a lot of time on the way that the other colors are being used for blocking. And so the black has this bit here, which is kind of, I guess in this configuration, vertical, and then cuts into horizontal. I've got these, I don't have hash marks. And then I like this shape where it comes up and then flows back out down to the bottom. I think it's pretty sharp looking. And then the white itself also has some sharp elements. I mentioned this one at the back, but I like the way that it flows up in the towards the center. Here, point, 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 point. I think at least in person, like the contrast of the white and the black and the way that is seems pretty pleasing, and I think is a nice, even within the same models, a bit of contrast to these areas that are so curvy. And this is one of the first times I've used such these kind of curved slope elements everywhere. I generally haven't done that before. So it has this, at the same time that it has these sharp elements, it has a bit of a bubbly and curved look. And I'm happy with the way that came together. Here in the center core, I put a lot of work into the cockpit itself, and so the faceting for that and the glass here, this is a trans dark pink inside where the pilot is, and that comes in above the pilot, and then it's cutting to both sides, and so did some work to bring in some elements that sweep in around the outside of that and give a triangular cut to the glass here on the side, while then also coming into the nose and around for the ship in the front. What this also then afforded was these side facets, I suppose, are banked such that off of these 53-degree slopes, there's these 30-degree cheese on top, and that is then flat relative to each side. And so I was able to put in this pentagonal tile, big flag tile on top flat, which then is carrying back into the center of the ship. Which is quite heavy, by the way. And then the center of the ship, we've got a bit of, I added a bit of texture and interest in here with these clip elements. These are projected up a half plate above the main body, and then just to give this flow from the round curve right into those sand blue ingots. And so I like the way that texture came together, and there's some interesting things happening inside to be able to get that held at just the right point. And then this coming back up here, this bit with the magenta itself, I don't know if it's coming across well on camera, itself is banked a little bit relative to the main body. And I very much like the convergence into the back here, this this big white wedge element has this 45-degree cut inside, and through serendipity I discovered that these latter elements in magenta, when opposed to 45 degrees, fit very nicely into that. So that's what's carrying back into here. And then these pentagonal tiles, there's a 45-degree cut here also to give this, I thought, pretty pleasing shape around the outside with some unexpected lines if you look at it closely. See, so that's in the center core section. Back here on the sides, there's some fun greebly bits. I thought for some texture and interest on the towards the back for the engines. The engines themselves, there's inset, a bit of this satin trans blue color, I think is working well for the engines. There's some, I use this handset element to give some texture and interest to the side. This is coming down the front more as it heads into the gun, just more bits of texture and some color flowing up in. And then where the kind of those big cannons in the front connect, these are jackhammer elements. And I had some, I like this element, and I had some fun getting these positioned in just the right place to go around those front cannons and to make them kind of come in just right. Where they're set into the side, this is 2 plates, and so some work was required to get the jackhammer element sort of centered in that, but then also held forward far enough to be able to go around these big cannons in the front. I'm probably missing some things, but that's some of the big things happening here in the. Oh, I should mention maybe also the wing itself. This is a mixture of plates and brick. That's not something I typically do. Usually I just work in bricks for the wing, so I wanted to try something new, and using these wedge plates gave some new angle possibilities, and then it's flowing into one of these 53-degree slopes. This happens to be in tan. I think this is sorry, I know this is a non-standard color, but there were some produced, and I like the way that the shaping comes together for that into these elements. And I intentionally here on the wings, some of these wedge plates are upside down because I think it's a nice texture, and I just wanted to play with that, doing something like that this time. The tan bits here, I forgot to mention in the blocking, just to give it a bit of contrast. So there's the 1, 2, and then 3 here in the back pointed, and then just a little taste of this here in the front as well. So that's what's up above. The ship itself now is held on a stand, and the stand, as typical for me, has adjustability. So you can change the angle or cant of the overall ship, and again, this pretty heavy ship gets hard of holding. I'm going to pull it off the stand here and just show the bottom. And so let's do that now. Okay. For the stand connection into the main ship, it's clipped in the front. It has some stud connections. I'll show that in a second. And then this Technic axle is latching it on in the back just to make absolutely sure it doesn't pop off. And so to take it off of the stand, I will remove that. And then this stand pops forward and then off of this clip. The stand has some fun things happening here with these clips and other elements to come in just perfectly now to the bottom of the ship itself, where it's grabbing these bars. And hopefully you can see what the Premonition looks like from below. There's a bunch of strut work and things happen where I think it actually is kind of fun to look at the way in which the wings to the outside and the cockpit, some of those panels are supported. It looks sort of like hydraulics or something, and I think it's a pretty nice look. Maybe try to grab that on camera. Okay. So I'm going to put the stand back on now. And then I will begin to work through the construction and show how the ship comes together. Okay, let's build this. Let's begin with the major assembly for Premonition. I'll show how all of the major sub-assemblies come together into the final ship. The first of those sub-assemblies is this one. So this is the nacelle for the ship, and then flowing back into the engine, and then holding this wing up off the side. We have the one jog down, the exposed ingots and so forth, and then the second jog back. And then the front here is to support the cannon. When I show this from below, you can easily see in the sub-assembly now all of the supports, which are bringing in both this first section, which is banked relative to the main body, and then 3 different struts, which are holding the wing in just exactly the right position. So and this big sub-assembly has some ingots popped off, and that's intentional because I'm going to put this up onto a sort of jack stand to help with the assembly process. And so pop this into place. And now I have something to support this wing section, nacelle wing and nacelle section while we do the major assembly. I, of course, have a second one of these. And then the next step is going to be to bring those together. To do that, we've got this bit of framing, which has studs in multiple directions and some brackets and so on and so forth. This section then will pop in from the side, upside down, like this, to each side, and then it has some locks. And so the first of those locks is a wedge plate with this circular brick on top. Just make sure I have the correct lock. And that's going to come lock this section in like so. And then on top of that, that's 2x3 tile further locks it in. And then down from below, there's I'll pop off the jack stand just to show this, big 2x6 tile, which will run across the bottom, pull all of this together, and then further secure the nacelle section, again, to keep it from torquing relative to the main body. Oops, make sure I forgot to put this back on. Okay, that's easy because this section was by itself. There's in like so. The lock. Two by three tile. and then the big 2x6 tile underneath. So you can see already this still isn't held strong yet. That's gonna we were gonna do that in just a little bit. There's an entire other section which is gonna come across and then crimp this in and bring out all the strength to the core. But before we put that on, I need to attach the vertical wings. And so I have two of those, which look like this subassembly. So some black with the magenta around the outside, all held in some nice, I think, pleasant angles. And then these brackets, the 2x2 plate with the 1x2 plate attached as bracket. Two of these, and that's going to come in here now to the side inside of the nacelle. So there's a place for those to come in, and we're going to do that on both sides. So one on that side, one on this side. Okay. Now I need the main frame, the center core section, which is this I built earlier. And this section, first I'll just show from below, has a bunch of framing and so forth, which is going to go around this center section and then lock everything together and make it super strong so it can't move or pivot. While I've got the section up, though, you can see down from below kind of flowing into the white and some shaping here into these pentagonal tiles in two layers in the sand blue, the shaping then back in the point and some texture and so on and so forth with this color blocking running up around the edges. So now I'm going to take this entire section, bring this back, and this is going to come around the top, around the front rather, front and top, and then with some luck, nice, oops, popped off, lost one thing here, we'll fix that in a second, around the back. Okay, now in order to then take this section and lock it in, I've got another series of parts here, which I'm going to have to attach while the ship is upside down. So, and I'm going to need to take the stands off temporarily. This is all, I think, very tricky on camera. Hopefully this will go okay. Okay, and I lost a part there. Okay, so then holding this from below, this still isn't locked, well locked in yet. So in order to do that, actually I do need to take these off first. So this center core section wrapped around, and was able to pull it. Now I need to make it nice and tight. And so I'm going to slide in these tile bits on each side. So one will come in here. One will come in here. That keeps it from moving now. And then I'm going to put back these two locks here. This is going to be later where the for the rear lock for the stand. It's going to come in through there. And then I'm going to this little sub-assembly here with the bracket and the plates and so forth is going to come up into the back here like this. And then it's going to connect into that center core section. And it just pulls the whole core around to the back. And so it's kind of hugging. Oops, this is in the wrong. Oh, this is in the wrong spot. Okay. Getting very heavy in my hand. Okay. Oops. Okay, and nice. Ah, very satisfying. Okay, that is very strong now. Here below. And then there's just some these little finishing bits that look like struts, but they're not actually connected to anything. Just add these on for decoration. Okay, and now it's time to put the jack stands back on. So I can set this down. All right. So continuing, the next thing to do is going to be to cover some interior panels on each nacelle. And so there's this 2x4 tile and some rounded slopes, curved slopes. And this will just come in to fill a gap that was left open because of where the locks went into each nacelle. And so one for the starboard side and the other for the port side. That's right. Okay, and so that's all set now. And now we are ready to attach the cockpit. The cockpit looks like this. Cockpit subassembly looks like this. And so all the fastening shaping is here from above, and you can see into the nose and the blocking. And then below, you can see the strut work supporting each of the sides of the cockpit. The sides are also pinned in from above with the internal geometry, and I'll show all of that in the cockpit video separately. But here's the unit, and this is where this unit is going to connect up into the main ship. While I do that, I'm going to pop off this bit with these magenta slopes. So that's going to come off temporarily here. Side. And attaching the cockpit is a delicate operation. There are several pieces here that need to come in just so. And so if I'm lucky, this will be all right. Ooh, good, good. Oh, very happy. Okay, so cockpit is in place. I'm going to go ahead and reattach those bits that I took off. Two. Okay. And now we are ready to attach the cannons. The cannon element looks like this, and the four studs here from these plate with side studs that are opposed are going to come into the cannon. Get everything lined up. Good. Okay. And then repeat that on this side. Each of the cannons have a little unit subassembly here at the top with this wedge with the click hinge and some supporting bits that will come in like this. And on this side as well. And then each cannon has a support strut side that looks like this flex tubing, and it will connect in back here, and then pin in here. All right. Same thing here. for this side. Excellent. All right, so that then leaves this center channel. And to fill that, we have these two sub-assemblies. First one here with the tile work and the ladders, some color blocking over the top, and then the bit with the flag. And this is held in just with clutch from everything that's just supporting from the side. At one point when I was working on this, I had built out some clips on hinges to hold it from below, but it just turned out to be a big pain and to attach and unattach while I was building it. So it's in there quite snug, and I love that fit. Back up into this wedge in the back. I think it is nice. And that leaves then just this also with clutch, a bit with the flag. Here. Oh, oops, disattach this. There we go. Good. And okay. All right. So this is the completed ship. Let's put it up on the stand. Let's get our completed model off of the jack stands and onto this display stand. And the place where the display stand connects to the ship, there are a couple of clips. There's a plate here that's going to receive some studs, and then there's some holes where a Technic axle is going to connect up into the main ship and keep it nice and secure up on top. The display stand is adjustable. By removing this Technic axle, we can change where the lift arms connect and change the angle of display. And while there's not a ship on top of the display stand, I can show the bottom of this. In particular, I'm very happy with this blocking, this geometry, where the tan comes together. This was very pleasing fit to get these angles, and it gives this nice reveal around the kind of inset on each of the interior edges here for the stand. So in order to get the model up onto the stand, we're going to have to turn it upside down and remove these temporary supports. The place where those jack stands were connected now has these 6 studs that are exposed. Those should be covered by ingots. So 3 ingots here and here. I won't bother doing that at this time. You can imagine that it looks better with it finished. And to put this display stand on, I need to change the hand that's holding the ship. There we go. Bit tricky. Okay. So here comes our stand. Come in like this. And now, because my right hand is free, I can get the Technic axle through here. Okay. There we go. So here is our completed Premonition model. That completes the model intro and major assembly steps. In upcoming videos, I'll dive into component construction details, starting with the internals for the cockpit design. Thanks for watching. See you next time.